while serial killers are rarely found to be suffering from psychotic states. Joseph Kallinger, who resided in a psychiatric institution for several years, was clearly psychotic, see Profile 3.2. Joseph Lee Brenner III was born in Philadelphia in 1935. Before he turned 2, his biological father abandoned the family. Unable to care for him on her own, his mother placed Joseph into foster care. At the age of 4, he was adopted by Stephen and Anna Kallinger. Life in the Kallinger household was brutal. Joseph endured severe and repeated abuse. He was locked in closets, denied food, isolated from other children, whipped with belts, burned with hot irons, and forced to kneel on jagged rocks. He was also subjected to extreme psychological torment, including being made to eat feces and inflict harm upon himself. When he was 9, he was raped by a group of neighborhood boys. By his teen years, Joseph had become defiant and rebelled against both his parents and school teachers. Any aspirations of normalcy, including a desire to become a playwright, dissipated during his teen years. At 15, he was sexually involved with a girl whom he married despite protests from his parents. Although they had 2 children, his wife Hilda filed for divorce due to extreme physical and emotional abuse. Over time, Joseph descended into psychosis, claiming he was guided by Charlie, a floating head with tentacles that told him to do terrible things. He began abusing his family in ways similar to the torture he had once endured. As Charlie's voice grew more commanding, Joseph believed he was being told to kill millions and mutilate their bodies. He involved his sons, 13-year-old Michael, and 11-year-old Joseph Jr., taking them into sewers to prepare for these acts. Michael was to be his accomplice. Joseph Jr. was the first victim. His murder, committed in front of Michael, was meant to seal their bond for future crimes. Joseph and Michael were eventually arrested for a home invasion and murder, later linked to other killings. Though Joseph pleaded insanity, he was declared sane and sentenced to prison. He attempted suicide multiple times, including setting himself on fire, and was transferred between psychiatric facilities and prisons until his death from a seizure in 1996 at age 59. Michael, viewed as under his father's control, was held in custody until he turned 21 and was then released. Dissociative disorders involve sudden, typically temporary disruptions in memory, identity, consciousness, or motor function. Dissociative identity disorder, DID, is characterized by the presence of 2 or more distinct identities, also called subpersonalities or alternate personalities, each with its own memories, thoughts, and emotions. One subpersonality may abruptly take control of a person's thoughts and behavior in a dramatic shift known as switching. DID is diagnosed in women about 3 times more often than in men. Formerly called multiple personality disorder, MPD, it has been dubbed the UFO of psychiatry due to ongoing controversy over its legitimacy. Nonetheless, increasing numbers of clinicians now accept it as a real disorder. No American serial killer has inspired more fictional murderers than Ed Gein. Characters in Psycho, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and The Silence of the Lambs were all influenced by his crimes. Gein was raised by a fanatically religious mother, Augusta, who read the Bible to him daily, warning of the sins of alcohol, sex, and immorality. She taught her sons that all women, including herself, were sinful, immoral, and tools of the devil. Although Ed loved his mother, he often felt he disappointed her. Struggling with his sexuality, he wished to become a woman and even attempted self-castration multiple times. When Augusta died, Ed, then 39, was devastated. He sealed off most of the house, preserving her room as a shrine. In the early 1950s, Gein admitted to exhuming at least 10 graves, including his mother's, from 3 local cemeteries. He collected body parts and repurposed them into household items, bowls made from skulls, lampshades from tanned skin, and garments like a nipple belt and mammary vest. He reportedly wore these creations while dancing in his yard under the full moon. Between 1954 and 1957, Gein escalated from grave robbing to murder, targeting local women and bringing their bodies home for dissection. He was linked to multiple disappearances. His final known victim was found decapitated, hanging upside down in his barn, her body split open and organs removed. Police later discovered a gruesome scene in his home: skulls, preserved organs, masks made of skin, seat covers and lampshades fashioned from human flesh, severed heads on bedposts, noses, vulvas, bones, and a drawstring pull made from human lips. As your text notes, having more than one personality may be an attempt to suppress or deny severe traumatization as a child. In one case, Sybil, who was initially believed to be controlled by 3 personalities, 13 others became manifest during treatment. Sybil appeared to have begun developing these personalities at age 3.5. An only child born to a mother determined by psychiatrists to be paranoid schizophrenic, Sybil was forced to watch her parents engage in sexual activities and became the target of her mother's bizarre fantasies. Each morning, Sybil was strapped to the kitchen table and, following a prescribed ritual, objects including knife handles, flashlights, a button hook, and bottles were inserted into her vagina. Frequently her mother administered enemas and forced Sybil to retain the contents while the mother played melodies on the piano. If Sybil soiled herself, she immediately received a vicious beating. There were times when Sybil was burned, had bones broken, was locked in trunks and other confined spaces, and hung upside down. Sybil's psychoanalyst would later explain that Sybil's personality had split or divided into several selves as a mode of self-preservation from the nightmares to which she was subjected. The new personalities denied the existence of Sybil's mother as their mother, thus allowing Sybil to cope with the immeasurable amount of stress and pain placed on her. The cases of Challenger, Gein, and Sybil provide insight into cases of psychosis and dissociative disorders. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM-5, helps to define and classify these and other mental disorders to improve diagnoses, treatment, and research. More information on the DSM-5 can be found in your text and slides that follow in this way. Professor Rees suggests you read the section on personality disorders carefully. Have a great day.